right, gold and silver investors, let's talk about what I am seeing on the gold and silver charts. January 2023 started off with a very, very strong month for the commodities. But as you can see, the monthly charts, not really just gold and silver, but, lithium, cobalt, copper, nickel, platinum, palladium, a whole bunch of these metals took a hit. Really one of the only strongest commodity, and I mean, I say strong with a 0.5% gain for the month of February was actually uranium. So it managed to squeak a small little gain for the month of February, but everything else red, right? And you can see here, I'm on a monthly chart time frame here on FinViz, looking at the gold chart, looking at the silver chart, looking at platinum, looking at palladium. You can see the recent red candle is the close for February. All of them are showing red. In fact, actually look at palladium, pretty big breakdown on the monthly. If you look at this price level here, sort of looks like a head and shoulder pattern there for me. When I look at the monthly charts, I have to say, looking at gold as well, quite a strong resistance zone around that 2000 zone. A lot of people are probably going to look at this monthly candle as an engulfing candle. We could probably take a good look here, and I'm sort of going past here, showing you guys sort of the setup that I am seeing on gold and silver, but there could be some more downside here for the metals. And if you are a long-term, I guess, investor or stacker of gold and silver, then you're going to welcome it as this time period to accumulate prices or accumulate the metal at cheap prices here. And the story really, for the metals is, of course, that US dollar chart and the chart of the bond yields, right? So we've been seeing recently bond yields rising higher. So the 2-year jumping higher, the 10-year also breaking out and jumping higher. And of course, because gold does not, yield anything, when rates tend to move higher, it's usually negative for gold and, well, let's say gold just because it's going to be sort of like this sort of safe haven status, I guess, metal that you can compare to, right? Because bonds tend to be where money runs to when there's a risk-off environment. But the thing is, when yields are rising higher, that money will run into bonds because, as I said, gold does not yield anything. So this has been putting some pressure on gold, and so has that rising dollar as well. And, I sort of warned about this reversal pattern in the US dollar. Of course, gold being the anti-dollar, so it has a very strong negative correlation with the US dollar. But there is a chance that the dollar could be in a reversal. We're just looking for this breakout here above 105. As long as it remains above 103, the uptrend still remains intact. But if we do get that breakout above 105.30-ish, this zone here that I've drawn out, it would mean that gold and silver would get, well, they have a bit more low to go. And when I look at the chart for gold and silver, it's something that I sort of see. I do see personally that there might be a bit more room to the downside for gold and silver. You can see here that the lower high I have for gold right now comes in here at the 1845 zone, which actually is where my moving average is right now, and that where gold is testing right now. And it does look like we could reject that before we head higher. You can see this channel that I've drawn out on the daily chart. It might look a bit better here if I go to the weekly, but this is what I've been watching, right, on gold. And I think if you're a gold investor, you should be drawing this out on your charts here as well. See here, 3 touches here to the upside, valid level in my technical approach here. We have multiple touches here to the downside. And we also have this channel here that's connecting a lot of points here in the middle. So it does appear as if gold can dip below the 1800 zone just one last time before we perhaps continue this move in the channel where we bounce off of the bottom portion of this channel here, or sorry, the middle portion of the channel before we continue higher and eventually, break out into new all-time record highs. I'm not saying that's going to happen, anytime soon, or perhaps not even this year, because this is, of course, that weekly chart, but just the sort of technical trend that I would like to see trigger, in upcoming months. But as I mentioned, that level here, just below 1800, I think this is a zone that we should watch. I don't really see something like this happening. You know, with the last time where gold dipped below 1800, we actually saw a very, very, very strong, fall in gold. But I think, this time we'll get a bit more of a dip below 1800, just enough, as I said, maybe up to 1780-ish before we see a bid higher. And of course, you can look at it many ways, right? Perhaps by the time this happens, the bond yields have topped, right? Because now we are at that terminal rate that the Federal Reserve has given, around that 5.1, 5.2% zone on the 2-year. And that would mean gold has dropped at 1780, and then we begin to see some sort of reversal at that point. There's also, the talk of central banks, right? A lot of central banks are buying gold as well, and that could be, a bullish or fundamental for the price of gold, especially as it heads a bit lower. So I would be watching those two things. But as I said, from a technical approach, I just can't say you should be buying gold right now as a trade. Of course, you long-term investors who love it, you guys are going to welcome the lower prices here to be able to pick up some more at cheaper prices. I am sort of a bit worried with the metals here just because of the price action I am seeing on silver. So weekly chart, we've talked about this level. Silver tried to break above this 2430 zone back in early 2023. When I say early 2023, I mean, it's already March, but I mean, just a couple of months ago in January, we tried to break above that, didn't happen. And I've been talking about this zone, sort of this $20.80 zone. And, I guess you can bring it down, touching this area here as well. It is very, very important support for silver. So if silver is going to make some sort of rally, this is where you want to see it happen, right? You want to see ideally price just begin to range quite a lot. Indicating that selling pressure, and you can clearly see the selling pressure of this breakdown of this range is exhausting, and the bulls are stepping back in. So silver again tends to follow gold quite a lot, tends to follow the precious metal gold rather than the base metal copper. And I mentioned that because a lot of people approach silver as an industrial metal, but as I said, it's more correlated to the price of gold. So, watch what silver is going to do here, because if we do get a stronger close below this 2080 zone, then, there is a chance to retest the lows at around $18.50 to $18 sometime this year. So I like to look again at the daily chart. Some of you might be going intraday, seeing maybe examples here on the 4-hour or even the hourly chart of a potential range begin to develop. But as I said, I think that daily chart is key. Just because you get a better sense of movement, and you also get better signals on the daily chart. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I am, as I said right now, I guess you could say optimistically bullish on silver, just because where we are at the support level. But again, I would also want to see, especially the dollar here, take a sell off here, and perhaps break down 103 before I can get a bit more excited about the price of silver and the price of gold. But that's all I can say here for the metals. Watch the bond yield charts, watch that dollar chart. Gold, as I said, does look like it might have one leg lower, and if that's the case, there is a potential that silver then does also break this very, very, very important support zone that is currently testing. So I wish I could have some positive things to say for gold and silver, for you silver and gold bulls out there. But, we trade the markets we see, not the markets we want to see, or we want to see, exactly, right? So that's what I have on gold and silver for you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the precious metal markets right now. Are you accumulating, or are you thinking that there's still a lot more room to the downside before you begin to accumulate? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to follow us and give us a like, and I'll catch you guys all in the next Chart Attack video.